live. I'm going to let a few of you get on here. It's pretty impromptu. I gave no indication that I was going to be on, except for, oh, my eyebrows are funny. Except for in a group chat, and that's about it. So let me get this chat up here. For Pete's sake. Let a few of you get on. Say hi. I see there's a couple people here. Maybe you won't mind me if I just fix my eyebrow really quick. It's bothering me. I must have scratched my makeup away. And I'm all out of setting solution powder stuff. So let me fix this real quick. It's a good thing it's just right here. I can still talk to you. That'll be better. So let's let a few people get on. And my intention today is to talk about like postpartum must-haves and what you need for a baby when they come. And it was inspired by a mom chat. A lot of us who have migrated from social media have taken up texting chat groups on Signal. So we have a mom chat, and somebody is brand new having a baby, and she wanted to know what do I need, because family members are asking what they can get for her, that kind of thing. I just realized my light's not on. Whoa, dang. Now I can be seen with the RV light. That's better. Okay. I'll turn the temperature of this down a little bit. Good. I like the first one better. Okay. So I wanted to have this little discussion with you guys. And I know that it's like impromptu, middle of the day. Sorry, I've got to pull up a texting app here. So you can use Signal on your computer too. It's pretty convenient because I can take questions on Signal if people are watching there, or I can just take them right there in the chat. If you're here, say hi. Love to talk to you guys. I'll let a few more people get here. But yeah, I wanted to talk about those needs immediately after having a baby for yourself and for your baby. And just kind of let you guys know where I'm at. Let's see, 24 weeks at the end of this week, I think. Something like that. Yeah, sounds right. 20, or maybe it's 25 weeks. It's 24 or 25 weeks. At any rate, due at the end of May. I'm hoping that baby comes June 1st or later, because we already have a May baby. But they come when they come. It is freezing cold here. It's we've had colder days actually in the last couple of days, but it's presently 9 degrees, but the feels like is like -10, I think, with the wind chill. We did have a -35 with the wind chill just in the last few days. And we've got cold basically through this weekend, and then we start to get a little warmer into the 20s. So a little bit more like a tolerable winter that most people enjoy. I actually enjoy these cold snaps because that means I don't have to go anywhere unless I really want to. The kids go outside just for a few minutes. They do go outside even in the super duper cold because we bundle them up. They're Minnesotans, so they do that, and then they come in and they eat something warm and they drink hot chocolate, and it's good to go. I'm loading my chat app on my computer, my Signal app, and it loads all of the messages that you have received since the last time you opened it up, and there's like 5,400, 5,500, 56, 57, So my chat groups have a lot of activity. So that's good. Life without social media has been really good. I have really just taken the time to decompress. I rebuilt part of the website, and I'm going to be working on getting some content loaded on there here in the coming weeks, now that I'm kind of sort of at a stasis in my home right now that I can actually sit down and write. We've been working on purging a lot of things from our house and reorganizing stuff and just getting kind of like an early jump on spring cleaning. I usually would have started seeds by now. By about February 2nd, I would have started some of my seeds, but I haven't quite done that yet. We're kind of pushing that off a little bit, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. 84, 85, 86, 100 so far on that app. If you're here, you say hi. I see there's a few more that have joined us. Okay, so I'm just going to get jumping into this. We're edging in on 10,000 messages. People get really, you know how I am, like with birth and whatnot. Hey Lauren, how you doing? I'm really a minimalist when it comes to baby stuff, and that has come after a lot of recognizing the pressure that we have to just have all of this stuff for our babies and all of these things to entertain our babies, and really realizing, and I think I really started realizing it right away, like with Zoe. I would say once I got into being a mom to more than one child, that there's this real push toward entertaining the child right away, instead of like allowing that child to naturally learn emotional development and naturally learn the world around them. We have to put them into a rocker, like a bouncy seat, or we have to put them in an activity center, or put them into like those I don't even know what they're called, those, with like all the bits and bobs on there that they can play with and knock around, the big plastic thing with the seat. Putting them in those to entertain them so that we can otherwise entertain ourselves, instead of just sitting with your baby and reading to your baby, you're singing to your baby, you're talking to your baby, you're shaking a rattle in front of your baby. You're encouraged to not hold your baby. There was a couple of reels on Instagram. I posted about them. I was like, what do this reel and this reel have in common? The first reel was this new car seat that's out that has a built-in stroller to it. So it's one of those baby bucket car seats, and you pull it out of your car, put the bucket part up, and flip the stroller legs down, all without touching your baby. You can take them out of your car and never have to deal with touching them. And then there was this other thing. What was it? Gosh, I can't even remember now. But it was something that was like, had to do with feeding, I think. Oh, that's what it was. It was one of these bottles and has a hose on it. And then the nipple for the bottle is up here and the bottle's way down here. So you don't have to do any of this bottle propping. But the baby sucks and the milk comes out, of the baby milk, the artificial baby milk, I'm only assuming, honestly. And I think it's a pretty good assumption too. Oh my gosh, we're at 18,000 messages on my Signal app. I can only assume that it's baby formula, because and I think I'm right in assuming that, given the situation. But this baby propped up on like a boppy or something, sucking out of this hose, again with nobody touching the baby, nobody holding the baby and cuddling the baby and loving the baby and cooing and talking to the baby while the baby's nursing or drinking out of a bottle or whatever the case may be. It's just this further perpetuation of human detachment, rather than giving babies the opportunity right away to learn, grow their emotional IQ. And that's one of the first and foremost foundational things that we need to learn. And I correlated it to the whole mask issue. The mask issue really is about detaching us from one another and isolating us in our homes and not allowing people to gather after church, and not allowing people to have, more than 10 people in their home that are, from more than how many households, or whatever those ridiculous rules that they make up just on the fly are. All of it is part and parcel to these things that we're marketed to right away. Like, you need to have a crib, and you need to have a bassinet, and you need to have a basket, and you need to have this whole stack of clothes for every single age group right away, and you need to have all of these toys, and these noise-making toys, and these color toys, and these toys. And I get messages all the time because I post about on Instagram how periodically I declutter the toys, and I get rid of toys. And people are like, how do you even do that? Because my kids would freak out. And I'm like, mine don't, though, because they realize that I've raised them to realize, okay, you don't need all of this stuff. And how about you enjoy the things that you have and the things that you actually enjoy playing with, rather than accumulating all these things that you don't actually need. And so people ask me all the time, well, how do you get rid of all this? So people ask me, what do you need for a baby? And I'm so confused, and I feel so overwhelmed. And do I need a stroller? And what stroller do I need? And do I need the kind of stroller with the baby bucket car seat? And do I need, all of these things? And I'm like, you know what? Here's what you need. This is my base list. And I'm not even going off of my list that I made here. My base list. God gave you breasts. God gave you arms. You have those two things, right? Those are your base. Additional to that, you probably need some kind of baby sling or a woven baby wrap. I'm not a big fan of stretchy baby wraps or pocket slings. Some kind of baby wrap. And you need a few onesies, a few sleeping gowns. And that's it. That's all you need. Your baby is meant to sleep with you. Never in human history have children slept apart from their parents or slept separate from other siblings. So every single sibling has their own bedroom until very modernly in human culture. It's just not a thing because we're not meant to. For safety, for warmth, for comfort, we're meant to sleep with one another. So having your baby with you in your bed, you don't need a crib. You don't need a bassinet. You don't need a baby basket. Now, I will say a baby Moses basket is on my list, my bigger list. If you want to get extravagant, get a baby basket. I love having a Moses basket. I have one that Travis bought for me when Cecilia was born, but I am picking up a woven African one because I want to have something that is heirloom quality so that my grandchildren can use it someday. So, as you go along the course of parenthood, you're like, okay, this plastic thing that's been worn out and puked on and food spilt on and wiped up too many times, and the seat is gross and this and that, I can't really pass that down to my kids, can I? Lauren says, agree, simple is better. Especially as you have more kids, it just makes sense from a clutter standpoint. Absolutely. I know a mom of 11 who doesn't even do high chairs at this point. She has someone hold the baby while someone else feeds. Yeah, that's what we do right away. We do have a small footprint IKEA high chair, but that's for later on when they're sitting up. And Cecilia doesn't even use it now, so it's going to get put away here. She just recently stopped using it. She wants to be a big kid and sit in the big kid chair, so we let her. But here's my big list, though, for baby, and it's not even that much bigger than what I've already told you. A woven baby wrap or a sling. My favorite woven baby wraps are Stork and Wiga. They're old school. They've been around since before baby wearing was a trendy, hip, cool thing to do. I love them. I can't remember who makes my ring sling. I will look and I'll link it in the comments. I'll link Stork and I'll link everything I tell you about. If I can link it, I will. After this processes and we're done with the stream. African woven Moses basket, and I specify the African woven Moses baskets because they're beautiful. They're beautiful, they're heirloom quality, they're sturdy. I love every single African woven basket that I have. I've had them for years. They're amazing. And every single picture I ever see of babies sleeping in them, they're so beautiful. I just love them. And again, it's about that heirloom passing down quality of them. A shearling to lay your baby on, a real one too. And you have to be really careful. You go on Amazon, there are lots of fakes being sold as real. So you have to, if you go on Amazon to look for one, you have to really read the reviews, because a lot of reviews will tell you what the good ones are. And you're going to pay a little bit more money for them too. So, if you get a budget of, I don't know, $500 to buy baby stuff, these are the things I think you should get. Okay, so a shearling, because a shearling will keep your baby cool in summer, and it will keep your baby warm in the winter when you lay them down on the floor to play, for tummy time, whatever. You can also bring it into the car. I might have to pause and go get water. I didn't fill my water bottle and I'm getting really dry. In the wintertime, you can bring it into the car and put it over their car seat after they're buckled in to help keep them warm. Diapers, if you're cloth diapering, if you're using disposables, up to you. If you are cloth diapering, there's so many different options for cloth diapers out there. My favorite, and what I always end up going back to, are just pre-folds with snappies and a wool cover or a plastic PUL cover. No matter how many times I use these cutesy, stuff the liner in types or all-in-ones or whatever that look like commercial diapers, I always end up going back old school because it just works. It's functional and it's just so easy. I have hordes and 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 even more hordes of diapers. I am a diaper hoarder. But I have reasons for that though. I want to have diapers for my children, but I also want to have, if somebody I know needs diapers and they can't afford to keep going buying diapers, I want to be able to give people diapers. What cloth diaper detergent do you use? I love to use, oh gosh, now what's it called? It comes in this, it's a Hispanic or Spanish Latin American brand. It comes in this bag. It's a blue bag. And now I can't remember what it's called, but it has a seal on it. And the name of it means seal in Spanish. And I love that stuff. It's super cheap. It's like $8 for this massive bag of detergent. Otherwise, I'll use liquid Arm & Hammer. Always works. I don't get funky stink in my diapers. And then you use the sun to dry them. If you want the cute little wrinkly look of your diapers, you can throw them in the dryer too. Not a big deal. A good set of onesies. Foca, that's what it is. Yes, Lauren saves the day. Foca, I love that stuff. It's cheap and it works. It works like homemade stuff. And I love it. And I don't have time to make homemade stuff. So yeah, diapers, detergent, Foca. Oh, I love that stuff. $8, I think, is what I pay for it. It's amazing. Onesies and onesies for the season. So if you want short sleeve onesies for the summer, if you want long sleeve onesies, they even make little tank top onesies. They're so cute. They have that same little, the top of onesies so that you could take the onesie down over their shoulders if they blow out or something. They look so cute. They're super duper cute. When they're newborn, it doesn't matter the season. I really like to have long onesies with the fold over hands on them just because it's scratchy. Gown sleepers, because gown sleepers make it super duper easy to change a baby. And gauze blankets. One super neat thing I've seen recently, they're called Guna Muna. They're sleepers that have a little bit of weight in them. So they're like a weighted blanket. I really looked into, because Zoe got a weighted blanket for Christmas. I'm really interested in having a weighted blanket just for my side of the bed. Travis does not want anything to do with a weighted blanket. He thinks that's creepy. And I'm like, oh, I need that. It feels really good to have that weight on me when I sleep. But I've looked into weighted sleepers for babies. And Guna Muna looks to be a really good company for that. I haven't gotten any of them. I haven't tried them out. This isn't any kind of endorsement because I don't know anything else about the company other than what I've looked at on their website. So that's it. That's the whole list. You could add things like, I was talking to Travis about this last night, and I'm like, I would say like some soaps and oils for the baby, but I don't bathe my babies right away. Like, it takes me maybe a month and a half before I ever bathe a baby. I let them have their lanolin on them. I'll use maybe a wet cloth on them, around their faces, and get the crusties off their faces and their eyes and their mouths, etc. But really, I let them just sit in their own babiness, let everything that came on them when they were born keep their skin healthy. And that's what you're supposed to do. I get so annoyed seeing hospital videos or even videos with midwives, and like the midwives or their nurses are wiping the babies off. And I'm like, what are you doing? You need to leave that on the baby. That is so good for their skin. They're not going to dry out. They don't need a bath. They smell amazing. I mean, it's like smelling the ocean when a baby comes out. It's just, I love it. So, I mean, you could add like some kind of body oil and a gentle baby soap on there too. It's your call. But that's my basic list of what you need for a baby when they're born. And then you just need to stay in your bed with your baby, let people take care of you, drink your water, flip on if you want to flip on your phone, you have how much time you have to sit there in prayer, reading your Bible, reading other religious literature. Like that's what you need to be doing, and letting people take care of you. And I understand that's not exactly the circumstance that everybody is afforded, but it's important. Okay, for mom, some of these things were things I didn't think of. Like I said, we had this mom chat, and some of these were things that other people were like, yeah, hey, I think that this is a good idea. So a power cord. So either right by your bed, or if you've got a chair in your bedroom, or whatever chair you sit in your living room when you're nursing your baby, make sure you have an additional power cord or a power strip there that you can plug your phone into, that you can plug, your computer into, or whatever else you might need to plug in, or a little salt lamp. So you've got some kind of dimmable, low lighting, so that you're not, in the middle of the night, like freaking out because your lights are too bright and you want your baby to stay somewhat asleep and you're still nursing the baby. It's, 2:00 in the morning or whatever. So power cord and a soft lamp, like a salt lamp. Water bottle. I have a water bottle. It's my dedicated water bottle. I think everybody in our house has their own water bottle. It was suggested to have an additional backup water bottle. So if you've got your water bottle and you forget it when you decide, okay, well, I've been in my bed for a week and a half, I'd like to just wander down the stairs, but you've got your arms full of your new baby and you're still kind of achy walking, and you go down your stairs and shoot, I forgot my water bottle. Have a backup that's in another location. It's probably a good idea. You always hear about all of the after the baby comes, all of the blood, all of the lochia, all of the tissue, and all of this that comes out after baby comes. Often we get stuck with just the big uncomfortable bunchy, gets stuck on your skin, or any pubic hairs or anything like that, the big maternity pads. Well, the best alternative that I've ever used are incontinence diapers for adults. They're amazing, and they peel at the sides, so you don't have to make a mess of yourself taking them off when you're already super duper uncomfortable going to the bathroom. You've got to change everything every single time. They just peel at the sides, you bunch it up, you throw it away, clean yourself off, put on a new pair. And you don't have to worry about any, like when you're resting in your bed or on your chair, any spillage out the back. If you've got really heavy bleeding, and by really heavy bleeding, I don't mean like too heavy. I just mean that regular heavy bleeding that happens in the few days after baby comes. So you don't get any of that spillage out the back, and you're not going to make a mess of your clothes, your bed, your chairs, your sofa, whatever. They're amazing. And to go along with that, you want to get cotton, as most chemical free as possible. pads, like period pads, that you want to soak in witch hazel and put in the freezer. You'll thank me. But they're called padsicles, and they help your lady parts so much when they're swollen and hurting, and if you've got hemorrhoids afterward, it's just, oh, it's going to be your best friend. So your cotton pads and witch hazel to make your padsicles, and you'll want to make those ahead of time, obviously. I don't know, in the week or so before you're due. Another couple of things that are going to be your best friend, especially if you get hemorrhoids: cypress oil on like those little round cotton makeup pads. Cypress oil on a cotton pad will help with the inflammation of hemorrhoids. It is a lifesaver. My friend brought me cypress oil and I was like, you are the best. It was the best thing ever. And to go along with that, when you do take your showers, this sounds really strange, but it really works. It works for hemorrhoids and it works for yeast infections that get really bad. Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile liquid soap. Girl, I'm telling you, the cooling sensation is amazing. And then the peppermint helps shrink down any swollen, inflamed tissue that you have. And if it's for yeast infection, it helps get rid of and kill off the yeasts. So that ends up being just about all I use. If I do get a yeast infection, that's what I use. And then with hemorrhoid treatment, oh my gosh, it's just a game changer, like completely a game changer, because it cools everything and makes you able to walk. Because I don't know, I mean, this last time around with Cecilia, I had some really bad hemorrhoid issues that were just like, I was debilitated, just bundled up in the fetal position on the bathroom floor. Travis is like, I don't know what to do. I was crying. It hurt so bad. And I couldn't hardly even just walk from, I'm like, my bed is right there. And right through this door right here, there's just a short little distance. It's maybe 5 feet to the bathroom between my bedroom door and the bathroom door. And I could hardly walk that without wanting to just die. And it was so bad. And then once I started using cypress oil, I was on like maybe day 3 or 4 after she was born. Cypress oil and Dr. Bronner's. Oh my gosh. I was able to sit. I could sit, up a little bit more, and it didn't hurt, and I could walk a little bit further before I had to sit again. It was so good. So cypress oil and peppermint Bronner's. Oh my gosh. There's this pagan lady called Celia. She's a singer, and she has this song that's the Dr. Bronner's song. You should look it up. It's kind of funny. But one of the lines is, Dr. Bronner's makes your hoo-hoo tingle. It's really funny. It's a really funny song. But yeah, it does. But it helps. It's a helpful tingle because it cools everything and helps the swelling and makes itch go away, makes pain go away. So good stuff. Another couple of things, obviously, peri bottle. You need to have that when you're cleaning yourself off, because you can't wipe yourself right after you've had a baby. You're just going to kill yourself if you do that. So peri bottle and some wet wipes, toilet wipes that you can use will be really helpful in keeping yourself clean and helping the whole area heal. And you're going to want to use like witch hazel and water mixture in your peri bottle. You could even use some cypress oil too if you wanted. It'd probably not be a bad idea. Let's see. For body care, another thing you're going to want, I'm not a big fan of Lancino. You have to wipe Lancino off because it's not really that good for baby to ingest. It's not going to hurt the baby, but it's not the best thing either. And then you have to wipe it off. And so you're nursing a newborn and your breasts are engorged and your nipples are raw and you're like, oh, I gotta wipe this off, and it hurts. And it's also really hard to apply. So I'm not a big fan of Lancino, but I am a big fan of the product Boob Ease. It's a little black container, and it's literally called Boob Ease, and it's amazing stuff. And it's smooth. It's got calendula. It's got, it's got several different things in it, and it's So good. And it applies really smoothly, and you don't have to wipe it off. Baby can ingest it. It's not a big deal. It's good stuff. So body care. Now, to make you feel better, the feeling part of it, get yourself a really cute, comfortable loungewear twin set. So pants and a shirt, or shorts and a shirt, or even pants, shirt, and a robe. A couple of sets if you can. If you can't, wear what you're comfortable in, but just make sure that you're able to get sat up and wash your face and brush your hair and put on something that you feel comfortable in, that you can nurse really easily in. And if you do have people over, that you're comfortable with having people over, which is something we'll talk about in just a few minutes, then you at least feel like you're not sitting in front of people in your underwear and in your pajamas, so you're in something comfortable that you can lounge in, but also be willing to be in front of people in, so a set or two if you can. And these are all, obviously, this is all, if you don't have it already, you're gonna have to spend some money, and these are just my suggestions. And so please I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, well, I have to spend money on this. And please don't feel like that. These are just my suggestions. Use what you've got. Always, always, always use what you've got first. Don't go out and spend gobs of money just because I or somebody else said this is what you have to. And that's the whole point of the thing, is don't go and spend money just because you're told that you have to spend this money, I don't think you have to spend. I'm saying if you can and you want to, this is what I think you should do. A lap blanket. I love lap blankets even in the summertime because I do get chilly. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have some circulation issues. So having a lap blanket is really helpful for me. And then at nighttime when you're nursing your baby, you get a chill at nighttime, even if you're in the middle of summer. At least I do. You get a chill in the middle of the night because your body's tired, and your body starts to shut down. And so you get chilly, and that's going to remain true in the middle of the night when you're nursing your baby. So a lap blanket or something you can throw over your shoulders just to keep the chill off of you when you're nursing. A nursing pillow. I read somebody said, oh, you should never use a boppy because it allows for improper positioning. And I'm like, boppy is kind of my best friend for proper positioning. And, if you're latching your baby right and you've got your baby up here and you're not hunching over your baby, that's what's best for you, and you can still get your baby in the proper position the way that they ought to be by using a boppy. I just think people get so nuts about, oh, you're doing this wrong, and it's just crazy. So boppy, or some kind of nursing pillow, my breast friend, or even if you've got I have a Tempur-Pedic pillow. Sometimes I even use that because it's got a little cradle in it. So it's got one thicker side and one thinner side. And in the middle, there's just a little cradle. I even use that, those sleepy pillows, those baby cradling pillows. I'll use that for that sometimes too. So use what you've got. If you want to buy, I really like boppies. I have a boppy that I've had since Gabriel was baby. A body support pillow, probably not a bad idea for pregnancy and postpartum. My body support pillow I'm actually sitting on right now. It's big. It's shaped like a big giant C, and it's humongous. I love this thing. I love this thing after having a baby because I can curl it up into kind of a gigantic boppy, and I can just sit in it, and it holds on to me, and it gives me a place to put my arms. And then I've got my boppy and I've got my baby, and I can nurse, and I'm comfortable, and I can even fall asleep that way and not feel uncomfortable or have my back hurt when I wake up. Let's see. Oh, and on the side of personal care, so that you don't have to get up and do anything, make yourself ahead of time before baby comes a little basket caddy with your basic, if you wear makeup every day, your basic makeup, and a hairbrush, and a little handheld mirror, and a backup of your skincare products that you like to use. a little facial hydrosol to freshen you. I like to use, there's a rose geranium hydrosol that I like to use. You just spritz your face and it feels so good and refreshing, and you just can't help but perk up. And if you put some citrus into it, oh, it's so good. And it just helps with your energy level if you feel put together. I mean, this is not anything we don't already know. You know, if you don't have time to brush your hair or brush your teeth or wash your face or anything like that, you end up feeling a lot more drained than you ought to. And so having just these little creature comforts is really a good plan. Addition to the feeling put together and clean, I would say put together a little snack kit for yourself too. And I would keep that snack kit by your bedside, I keep a little chair in my room for when I'm nursing babies. So by your table side, next to your chair, or wherever it is that you sit downstairs, or wherever else in your house that you sit and nurse your baby, have yourself a little snack caddy there. Because I don't know about you, but every time I sit down to nurse the baby, I'm instantly thirsty and I'm instantly starving. And so having those snacks immediately available, especially if, you know, Papa is taking care of the 2-year-old, and Cecilia's going to be 2 at the end of March, you know, so Papa's going to take care of the 2-year-old in the middle of the night while I'm nursing the baby, and he can't exactly get up and get me a snack. So we're going to load that snack basket for me ahead of time. So those are my suggestions. Those are my top suggestions for what I think are necessary and really vital for physical and emotional needs. And then of course you want to have, you know, your Bible, any kind of religious reading or other pleasure reading that you want to do, your rosary, a vial of holy water, because bless your baby constantly. Bless your baby constantly. Headphones for when you just don't want to read and you just want to look at reels on Instagram while you're nursing your baby, you know, stuff like that. So just have those creature comforts that you really, really love, really readily available for you. So you don't have to get up. You don't have to bother anybody else in the middle of the night, and it's there for you. And by bother anybody else, I mean, you don't have to wake anyone else, and you can have that semblance of, see, I still can do stuff. Even if you have a massive hemorrhoid issue and your breasts are rock hard and your baby's crying, you're like, you know what? At least I got my headphones and my snacks, you know? It makes you feel a little bit more pulled together and able to do things. I think that's how I feel about it. And that's not to say that, you know, you have to get back into gear right away, because I don't think you do. If you've been with me long enough, you know, my philosophy is women should take as much time as they can to just stay in bed with their baby, napping and sleeping and eating as needed, and not have to worry about doing anything else for anyone else at any point, because it's unreasonable. We have no regard for the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of women when they are in their last days of pregnancy and when they give birth. We just don't have regard for that in our culture. And I think that in order for us to have regard for it, we have to establish it for ourselves, and we have to assert it for ourselves. And in asserting it for ourselves, here's the conversation about having visitors. I've had this conversation on Instagram, or not Instagram, Facebook, when I sell my Facebook, and on Twitter. I get unpopular for this conversation. All right, so here it is. You don't have to let visitors see you. You don't have to let visitors meet your baby. You don't have to let anybody hold your baby. Nobody. When you feel like letting visitors come, let them come. Set your boundaries for how long they're allowed to stay. Set your boundaries for, you know, if they're a smoker, please don't smoke before you come. And if you could, please wear clean clothes. Please don't wear fragrances. Please don't bring your children with. Please stay only for 30 minutes. When you come, don't expect to hold my baby. When you come, please bring food or do something when you're here. You know, set these boundaries, because Otherwise, people will just expect that, oh, baby, I love babies. Everybody loves babies. I'm going to hold your baby. I'm going to come over and I'm going to meet you and I'm going to hold your baby. No, you're not. I'm really, really very protective of my babies when they're born. And when they're not, when they're bigger too. But when they're just born, we've had this conversation before. Nobody but me or Travis or the children hold the baby. Nobody. Grandparents don't get to, friends don't get to, unless I invite them to. It's never, ever, ever something that I have made a possibility for anybody to ever assume that they can just come and hold my baby. So, assert the way you want visitation to happen after you have a baby. If you want to stay holed up in your bedroom and you don't want anybody coming up and they're just, thank you so much for dropping off food. I really, really appreciate it. I'm staying in my bed. Please enjoy time with Travis and the children. I'm not coming down. But if I feel like coming down, I'm going to. It's all about you. It's about you and that baby and that bonding and that healing time. And so you have to assert that boundary. And we're never, like I said, we're never, ever, ever going to have a culture that respects these needs of women after they have babies if we don't enforce it. And if our husbands don't enforce it. And if our family isn't brought up in a culture of enforcing those kind of boundaries and limitations for people external of the family. So I think it's really, really important. That should be on every woman's list. And, you're going to hear the stories about, oh, well, my mother-in-law or my father-in-law. Well, they had their babies. They get to just wait until you're ready to let them visit or let them hold their grandchild, because it's not about them. Well, I want to bond with the baby too. The baby doesn't care. It's not about the baby. It's not you and the baby thing. It's a you thing. The only person the baby needs to bond with in those immediate weeks is the mother. That's why the smelling and the touching and the tasting and the holding and the not wiping away all of the birth fluids off of the baby, letting that soak into their bodies and rubbing it in like lotion. Why all of that is so important is because of the biological receptors and everything that happens biologically when we have our babies. And nobody else is benefiting from that except for you and the baby. Lauren says, such a great point to set the boundaries. My last pregnancy, a family member who I trusted and felt comfortable hold my baby, passed my baby to somebody who I did not trust. Yes. Yeah. And that's a good point. If somebody is there and, you do trust them, they should know you well enough to not do something like that, or they should know what your boundaries are. And that's why I've always been so vocal about my boundaries on this issue, because I don't want anything like that happening. Because I won't hesitate to be mean if I have to. And as a person who visits mothers with their babies, I don't ever assert that I want to hold their baby. I would love to hold your baby. I just visited a friend last week and I was like, oh, my arms were screaming to hold her baby, and he was so cute and so fat, and I was like, oh, he's so sweet. But I didn't, because it's not my place to even ask. It's not my place to even ask. If she wants to offer, that's awesome. I will offer. I have some friends who I offer, like, yes, will you please? I want you to hold my baby because I love you and I trust you. Don't break that trust, though, by screwing it up, because that'll be the last time I trust you with my baby. And when people do come and they bring food, make sure people know what it is that you like to eat. This can easily be established by having a friend or even doing it yourself, setting up a meal train that people can sign up for to help you out. Because, there are other children who still have to be fed. You still have to be fed. Your husband still has to be fed. And that's where the community comes in. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, yes and no. Like, I don't want most of the village raising my children, but that that family bond that extends into the community is really important and really vital for the flourishing of a new family, for the mental health of a new mother. And it doesn't matter how many children you've had, you're still a new mother. You still have that flood of emotion, that flood of hormones, that oxytocin, the everything that comes in when we have our new babies, that makes you a new mother again. It doesn't matter how many children you've had. And I think that really gets lost. The more children that you have, the less people are inclined to think, oh yeah, she sure needs help. No, she's got this handled. We don't need to worry. She's got this. And while at one point that is a really like boost in confidence, when you don't have your ish together and you can't get up out of bed and you can't go make food for your family and your husband burns things and the best thing he can make is coffee, you're just like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to starve. My house is going to be a disaster and I'm going to feel like I have to get out of bed before I need to or before I'm able to, and everything's going to go to pot. So like, I think women need to equally expect to have help and assert that they need help. Do you know? So you have to let people know that you need the help, and assert that you need some help. And if you can hire a doula, hire a doula. I'm never personally comfortable hiring a doula. I don't want somebody I don't know here, even if I don't know them, I only know them within the confines of being a doula, and I've interviewed them and I like them and whatever. I'm still not comfortable with that. In fact, my friend who just had a baby, there was one of the gifts that was given to her was a big house cleaning. And I'm like, props to you. I can never have a stranger clean my house. Never. That is my worst nightmare. So letting people know what it is that you need when they ask, be specific. It's all part of the whole list of being prepared for after baby comes. I think that's all I had to talk about today, and I got done in under an hour. So feeling great. I'm really tired. I was going to do prenatals tonight. Actually, I was going to do prenatals last night, but I got too tired. So I'll probably do them tonight, and maybe I'll do those and I'll let you guys know down in the comments. I will list everything, specific products down in the comments for you so that you can check those out if they're in your price points. I just bought a nightgown from a company I really like. It's a longer nightgown. It's short sleeve. It's cotton. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, and it buttons down so I can nurse out of it. And, I can still feel comfortable, but I think I want to get they've got a couple of twin sets, pants and shirts that I think I want to get too from them. So, it was pretty reasonably priced. I think I paid $18 for it, something like that. So I'm going to look into doing that. And I'm picking up an African Moses basket, like I told you guys. I joined a wholesale group, so I'm getting one for actually about less than half the price of what you usually pay for them. So very excited about that. But otherwise, I have basically everything that I need. There's a few odds and ends, but we're really just gearing up to head into the third trimester and the home stretch, and I'm going to be cleaning in my room, and I've already kind of gotten obsessively cleaning. Obsessively cleaning my kitchen today. Bathrooms have been obsessively cleaned. I'm going to obsessively clean in my bedroom. Like, this is when it all kind of starts for me, is these late weeks in the 20 to 30 week period that I start to kind of go bonkers with cleaning things, because my baby might be born behind the toilet. Who knows? So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We only had a few people here today, and that's fine. I love all of you. I'm so excited that you could join me. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.